Good to hear that, Amir. Good morning, EF5 guy. Good to see you. We're just about to get started. I'm just over here munching my cereal here. How do you like it? Is it a change with the new BIOS? I haven't had a chance to install it just quite yet, but I have the video almost ready to go, ironically. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody that is out there, or evening, or even in the afternoon, depending where you are in the world. Certainly excited for upcoming days because it almost seems like there are some changes that we didn't see almost immediately. Well, we sort of saw, but not 100% completely, because it almost seemed like there was no end. If everyone has noticed, there has been quite a shift when it comes to the whole AI integration. Now, at first, the first side of the news, I have to say, when it comes down to it, is the whole situation when it came to YouTube. If you guys are familiar with YouTube, and of course any other social media platform, I'm sure you have noticed quite the increase when it comes to AI videos and AI video creation, which I'll put up a poll in a little bit because I'm curious to hear your guys' take on this as well. And what currently is going on, it seems that YouTube is the first one to do this, to where they are starting to really hunt down a lot of these AI channels that they feel that it's actually ending. Instead of trying to bring AI into the platform now, which they originally intended, they kind of want to revert it and now don't really have any AI slop channels. So I find that a bit interesting. And Microsoft, what's up, game player? Good to see you. BH Barat, what's up? So Microsoft also has some very interesting news when it comes to AI as well, which is going to be quite interesting. In fact, Microsoft wants to rebuild its trust into its customers because they feel like Windows 11 has a lot of issues, as we all know. There's a lot of update issues, and it seems that it's been ongoing, at least since past August of 2025, maybe even before then. But it's been non-stop drama. And now Microsoft says they want to fix it. They actually want to fix Microsoft Windows 11, as that they were losing users to Windows 10, which is, of course, their predecessor OS. Okay, awesome. Um, what's up, Brat? LHG. And get this, Microsoft also wants to say that they want to slow down on Copilot's integration. They feel that they're trying to rebuild their trust when it comes to their customers. So you have YouTube, now you have Microsoft, and it makes you really wonder what's going to happen next. Is there other companies that are going to be straightforward and join in? Honestly, Dell was actually the first one to really join in onto this whole AI massacre, meaning that Dell said, we don't want to put AI in any of our PCs or any of our laptops because we know that's not what consumers like. And they're 100% right. DuckDuckGo, they put on a search platform. They put a poll and they asked everyone how would they like AI integrated into their search. And 90% of users said no, I don't want AI part of the search, but 10% only said yes. So it seems like there might be a shift that is coming up, hopefully a positive shift, which means possible returns to normal RAM pricing and normal pricing when it comes to PC hardware. Let's hope that is coming up soon, but these are some signs. It's not 100% certain, but as of now, pricing has gone up. So Kirian says, why do people use Windows? It's because of gaming. And it makes it a lot easier. There's a lot of game compatibility when it comes to Windows. Like, for example, Battlefield 6, you can't play that on Linux just quite yet. Hopefully in the near future we can. It would be awesome if we could. If there's 100% game compatibility, then you would see quite more of a shift of people going towards a Linux-based OS. What's up, Wally Paper? I mean, well, Wally Paper. Wally P Tech. I appreciate you coming in. Takuma, the YouTube AI hunting down AI content and closing AI channels. So AI yeah, that is true though. It's pretty funny because a lot of the moderation when it comes from YouTube is from AI, which claims to be human. Hard to believe, right? So I did think they realized that Copilot is not interesting to most of us users of Windows, and AI reached a plateau. Now, question for everybody out there. Would you care, okay? Would you care if your keyboard, say they came out with gaming keyboards, right? Like Corsair, doesn't matter your favorite brand. They could be Razer, it could be Woot. They come out with the keyboard and it's missing a Copilot button. Would you honestly care? So, Mr. Rainbows loves coffee. Welcome. Rune Sniffer. EF5 guy. I need help with... Oh, what's up with your PC? And this is why I've always said that people should have thought before integrating AI into modern hardware. Agreed. It's like it should have its own internet where AI would be at, so that we would know the internet could be kept clear of it. I'm not trying to smash my PC while I attempt to figure out how this cooler works. Yeah, pretty much. And then the worst thing is they could give you the wrong set of instructions. So, okay, I guess I'm the only one that uses Windows 360, you know, because of... It's funny, I forget exactly which one it was. I think it was a GPU, or it was one hardware component that you could purchase on Newegg. If you go onto Newegg and purchase this piece of hardware, it actually comes with Microsoft Windows 365. So, like, for anyone that does use it, I mean, it's still used, especially like heavily in the office space at least. What's up, Limitless Wave? Welcome in from the UK. Copilot button. Yeah, I figured. I think it bothered everyone. I don't think nobody liked it. I think Windows was trying to get to the point to where instead of having the Windows button, they wanted the Copilot button to kind of replace everything. They wanted it to be like the start menu to asking questions. It wanted to be like the 100% hybrid of what a Windows button should be. It's like it's like an assistant mixed in with what you need to open up your apps with. But that would be quite annoying. Like if you honestly had to constantly talk to Pilot to open up certain apps, like if you need to open up a browser, or if you needed to do like, say, something you don't open up as frequently, like a notepad. And now you would have to talk to it and say, can you open up the notepad? And then hope that it does open up the notepad. But again, it's one of those things where Microsoft has really tried to push when it comes to assistance and now integration when it comes to AI. So the exact wording, which I want to share with you guys, this is on videocards.com that reported this. And right here, it says that Microsoft is citing a shift on how Microsoft approaches Windows, with leadership saying 2026 will be about fixing. Well, they didn't start off the year great, because as we've all seen at the beginning of the year, that they've had massive issues when it comes to boot issues, and there's been issues when it's come to they're updating even their platform. Their recovery environment was a mess where you couldn't even recover your Windows. You had to, the only way you would be able to fix Windows is if you had a copy of Windows in your USB. So it's become a complete and utter mess. So it even forced users, at least 5% of the user base, to switch back over to Windows 10. So if it's missing the Copilot keyboard, hell yes, I would finance this with a small donation on a keyboard producer. I'm not sure what the issue is. Well, There's definitely issues. There's ways that the process is being used up where it shouldn't, like the instructions. For example, like Windows 11 just earlier this year, if you have a NVIDIA card specifically, and this is, of course, doesn't affect every build, but if you take a look at it and you actually try to measure out your performance when it comes to your PC, if you compared it to its prior build, you'll notice that you'll have quite a decrease in performance when it comes to the newer version of Windows 11. Some people are reporting up like the 10 to even 20% of a difference when it comes to the frames. So, and that's just from the last build, and that's from 5074104 specifically. And also, of course, gave issues when it came to booting, which can be pretty serious if your PC doesn't want to shut down. So, again, that was something that doesn't affect every single build. More than likely, it didn't affect you AMD users out there that have a RX 9070 XT, for example. So, but anyway, getting back to the whole Microsoft point, they renewed a message, and it follows months of complaints of Windows 11's quality, day-to-day friction. And here's their quote unquote here. It says the feedback we're receiving from our community of passionate customers and Windows insiders has been clear. We need to improve Windows that is meaningful for people. So you're telling us Copilot and AI wasn't meaningful all this time? Remember how they were saying that Copilot is going to be something that everyone's going to use, that it's going to completely change the game of the Windows OS, and this is something that everyone's going to solve, is that wants this, that's going to solve for Copilot. But you're telling me that nobody is using the Copilot button? So this year, you're going to focus on addressing pain points we hear constantly for customers, improving systems performance and reliability and overall experience of Windows. And then trust is earned over time, and we are committed to it. So this is from Pavan Devolry. So he's going to apparently try to take it a bit more serious. And if you guys aren't familiar with YouTube, this is the whole YouTube situation, which I'm going to show you. YouTube destroys AI channels, right? So we're going to go over here to the news side. I'm just going to pick up, let's go 404 media. So AI generated is boring history. Videos are flooding YouTube and drowning out real history. So they're saying now there is a bit of confusion when they come out with AI videos. So my father's reaction when Microsoft announced, yes, absolutely. It doesn't make sense. Welcome back, game player. So as I do most nights, I was listening to YouTube videos falling asleep. So this guy said, in the end, blah, blah, blah. We want to get to the good stuff here. So the next, okay, we don't want to see that part. Oh, okay, it's one of these kind of guys. Oh, we have to pay to see that. We're going to go to another one. We'll go to, let's see. Let's go to Mashable here. AI slop is killing the internet. Now, this is no secret. This is obviously no secret, but the point is, while I'm searching for this article, YouTube is taking down a lot of these AI slop channels, and it's like millions. I think I can find the statistic for it. Let me see. Let's see. YouTube destroys AI channels by numbers, by millions. It'll come up like that. And let's see. We'll go to Deadline. Not a big fan of Deadline, but going here to take a look as I want to share with you guys what's happening here. So, Screen Culture founder Nikolai P. Chodari says terms of dozens of editors exploited YouTube's algorithm by early with fake trailers and constantly iterating with videos. So they're getting tired of fake trailers and also fake history. So pretty much anything that was fake. All the videos that you've seen of cats with bazookas, or you've seen, you can name it. You've seen some wild shit on the internet for sure. So sorry, officer. I said I purposely stripped out all of that in Copilot and AI bloatware out my Windows app before I installed it on my computer. A much more pleasant experience. What's the coolest? Yes, yes. Yeah, cats with bazookas, dogs with bazookas. And it would give you, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Like where you've seen a ring camera. And like it was like ring camera footage where they would have a dog holding up a bazooka, or it would be a cat holding up a bazooka, and then it would fire, and then the owner would run up to it and say, "What are you doing? What are you doing with that?" So they're getting tired of that kind, those kind of videos, and they're trying to remove all the AI videos that are inaccurate, such as historical videos where you have, for example, George Washington talking like he's in a first person vlog format or something. So, what's up, Wasabi? Good to see you. So, because of this, this is a positive shift. Now, here's even something even more interesting, which kind of reinforces everything. Take a look at this. I don't know if you guys follow anything when it comes to precious metals, but if you do, you know exactly what happened yesterday, which I'm going to show right here. So take a look at this. It's going to be quite a surprise. We're going to go over to the we're going to go over here, and if you take a look, silver has dropped 26.91%. You know why that's good? Because a lot of our PC components are based off of silver, or it's based off of some type of copper. And if you see this large drop here in one day, that was just one day, 26.91%. So that means less is being used. Same thing when it comes to copper, 4.5%. Gold's down 9%. If this continues, this is a very positive shift, especially when it comes to the PC community. These are signs. So right now we are hopeful, especially in January, that they really slow down on needing the use of technology when it comes to AI. I think there's starting to be a loss of faith. Oh, Waffle Skater says the ring camera ones are getting pretty good quality, only because, yeah, it's true. It makes me not even want to get a ring camera now. I really enjoy. I'm worried about what to do with a B660M HDV. RAM and SSD was always something secondary for my mini shop personally. Anyone interested on a i5 12400F? Do you think the Ryzen 9 9900X3D, it's a decent CPU. I think it's a decent one. Of course, you don't really hear about it much because it's in that in-between, which is like kind of like how the 9850X3D is. It's sort of that in-between to where people don't... now, it's going to be kind of weird now because you're going to have kind of like 9800X3D, 9850X3D, 9900X3D, and then, of course, you have the 9950X3D. I think it's a decent CPU. Of course, I believe it's only an extra $50 if you go for like the 9950X3D. You might as well go all out, as it has 16 cores and 32 threads you can take full advantage of, up to 170 watts. You have the full Vcache, and it'll be great for those out there who want to be able to game and want to be able to do things like edit videos. I would suggest going up just a slight tier, but if you are really much more on a constrained budget, then the Ryzen 9 9900X3D could definitely do you justice, and you can even be just as happy. Here, I'll go invest in some silver and make it crash even more. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Anything that you touch turns into death. Just invest. Just have faith in silver, everybody. Just put like what you have into silver, and then once it drops, then we can finally buy RAM at normal prices. But at the meantime, of course, there's always a slow response when it comes to it, because as we know, it's just beginning. This whole downfall, I believe that AI is headed towards now. Again, I am hopeful for this because, again, Microsoft admitted to it, Google admitted to it, and soon others, large companies will admit to it too. So if it's slowly dropping and there's slowly less support for it, then our pricing for PC hardware will certainly go a bit back to normal. But as you know, this is really recent, so prices are unaffected just quite yet. Microsoft stock just dropped by 12%. They just lost 400 billion due to AI investing. Yes, I think this bubble will pop very soon. It's a high possibility. Um, this marketing is going to end. More possible to do with new Windows. Let's just click on it. Let's click on this laptop. You got to love it. Copilot plus PC. That's going to disappear soon. Pretty soon, it's going to look like this one right here, where there's really nothing entertaining about it. I guess they thought that when you see Copilot PC, you think, oh yeah, let me look into it a bit more. So speaking of AI, it seems that like Nvidia shareholders are not happy with Jensen, and his positions has started a shack. Also, Nvidia has placed on a hold for 100 billion. So they're even getting a little bit itchy. You know what's funny? How does everyone feel when Jensen Huang says stop calling AI slop? Microsoft was also in that part of that pool saying stop calling AI slop. It's truly revolutionary. You are stopping AI from progressing. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think AI deserves to progress at this point? So Ubisoft lost 35. I'm not surprised that Ubisoft is a lost cause. They are a lost cause. Thumper 5102. Who doesn't love a backseat driver? Exactly. Who doesn't love it? That's what exactly Microsoft wanted. They wanted to be part of your intense experience of Windows. They wanted to be like, hey, what's up, Copilot? Can you play some music with me when I'm browsing? But in reality, nobody wants to do that. You wake up 7 in the morning to do some work. You think you feel like messing with Copilot? You think you want to start talking to it? So that PC from Micro Center for 2,999 seems like a steal. Yeah. Speaking of steals, for anyone that wasn't part of Wednesday stream, a really funny story happened where Costco actually ended up started to remove RAM from their PCs on display. Reasoning for that was because people were actually taking the RAM outside of the PC. Like, I don't know if the PC was on or not, but if it was, can you imagine how funny it would be to see that they would pull out the RAM and then it would just go into a hard lock? Because once you take that RAM out, that's it. That PC's not. That's hard lock now. Like, that PC is going to be stuck on that screen. Unless someone finally shuts it off and then they get the boot code. So that PC from Micro Center. So as an artist, I want this AI to go away. It's only useful for concepting or helping you write things. It should be banned in the media and creative fields. I agree. I feel like it's funny to see how much how it progressed. We got to the point where AI was so reliant that people would end up like saying, like, instead of you have to email your boss, say, for example, and you had to write them some sort of like a presentation or something. And now you have to go into AI and then you say, hey, can you write a presentation about blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as it writes it out, you just copy and paste it and it makes it so much easier. Sure, it has its benefits there, but I think what's funny is when people don't end up checking over what they sent and they're like, oh, I didn't mean to send that. And it'll say best, parentheses, your name. Or it'll say, dear, brackets, and then I'll say, your boss's name. I can't really blame Microsoft. Probably they are out of things to do to everyone. That's diabolical. Not banned, but limited. Hey, recently got a Ryzen 9850 X3D, and my 5090 is slower than my old 4090. Any tips for? Probably it could be probably because of Windows 11. I'm not kidding. It probably could be Windows 11. So did the 5080 price go up from last year? Yes. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the pricing. If you guys checked in on Wednesday, you guys are pretty much familiar with the pricing. Now I haven't checked it today. I haven't seen if there's any quite shift, which I'm sure that there will be. Now we're gonna go into the 5000 series here, and let's take a look. Okay, so far it's been holding right now as of, I'd say, like about a week and a half now. So it seems that the RTX 5090s have pushed up about $200. Yeah, about 200 to $250. Now, if you get the white Astral 5090, it's 3550, and if you get the okay, now this is going to be a range of different cards here. Actually, the 5060 Ti actually went up in price. Now it's $500 for it. So that has shifted a bit. Now that's going up $50, so I would imagine the 5070 would have to shift up as well to probably 550 or 600, I would think. You can compare the world when neural networks were discovered and now when ChatGPT. Yes. And you know what's crazy? Large learning models have always been around, and it just seems like it's just, of course, this is a super large learning model, but it's just how they made it seem like it was going to be something truly breaking, you know. And now the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 Astro, $1,900, so that's holding. There's 6 in stock at Micro Center. We're gonna look for all in stock. In fact, yeah, this is all in stock. The Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 Tough Gaming. Oh wow, 1700. Yes, I remember at 1700, pretty much as close to the Noctua card. Now, now if you see these two cards, there is. Why would you debate whether getting RTX Tough Gaming Overclock Triple Fan over a Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 Pro Art? Oh wait, this is the Pro Art. I thought this was the Noctua card. Okay, but this is $1,700. But either way, this is like almost non-debatable here. It's like you either go with the tough card or you go with the prime here. Now the prime, I mean not the prime, the Pro Art originally was, let me see. The price was, I think, $15.99 originally. So it's gone up about $100. The MSI NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 Ti, the Shadow, they finally got some in stock, $589. Wow, that's gone up significantly. Should not be that high. That should be closer to the 400 and that's more closer to the 450 range right there. So that's going up significantly. That's up about $130 roughly. Now the Asus NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070, that's going up actually. Original price was at like around 600 for it. Now it's up to $670. And for Zotac NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 5070 Twin Edge overclocked, it's $550. Wow. Yes. This is probably the best deal you can get for a 5070. It seems like Zotac is the most fair priced one out of all of them for when it comes specifically for the 5070. Now the standard 5090 Astral, that's not white. That's $3509. So again, it's going up like about $200 for that card. So far the prices have been pretty much holding when it comes to the GPUs. What has dynamically shifted was the 5070 Ti, which we will look up here. And the 5070 Ti, they don't even have them in stock anymore. We're going to include in out of stock items. I picked up the Samsung 990 Pro Plus. What? 187? Sort of. It's still kind of high, but it's definitely better than where it's at. Because currently, if you do pick up a 2 terabyte N990, believe it or not, guys, the PCI Express 4 and PCI Express 5 is not that different when it comes to the pricing side. That's not that bad because I'll show you. In fact, the 990 Evo, I think it's like 220. Let me see. I was close. 240. Or the Pro. I'm sorry, you got the Pro. 990 Pro. Not P, not that. All right, 990 Pro. You might be shocked when you see the price. 2 terabytes, $300. Wow. Isn't that expensive for PCI Express 4? Really expensive. Recording. So did you see that YouTube streamer that? Yes. You insane. I had to repost it, Amir. I reposted it and I mentioned it. I was like, don't watch. If your PC is burning, don't watch it burn. Immediately shut it off. That's just terrible. Like, why would you watch it? Literally, you could risk your house catching on fire if that's the case. And definitely don't throw water on it. Me with a 9100 Pro 8 terabyte. Yeah, it's insane. 90, I don't even think they have it. Let me see. And if you take a look at a 9100, it's not going to be that difference. Only $15 more to get into PCI Express 5. So it's like, it's not that much of a difference. Where's the 8 terabyte? 8 terabytes right here. $1,050. That's insanely expensive. So just again, NVMe's are really out of control here. You look up Western Digital, it's even worse. Western Digital 8100, right? You wouldn't believe the pricing on it. $645. This is Micro Center, guys. This is not eBay. This is not Amazon. These are real prices. These are real prices that exist. It's almost like you can't believe it's even legal. And get this, if you sign up with Micro Center, you can save $145 on it. So can you imagine you save $145? It's crazy. You're used to hearing save 10 or 15 bucks, right? But 145 is quite significant. So print screen, it says what, 4 terabyte and 990 EVA is a Micro Center 9850X. Okay, let's take a look at it. So if anyone's curious about that 9850X 3D deal, you're just interested into say buying a brand new PC, let's take a look into it. Okay, so the AMD Ryzen 7 9850X 3D by itself is $500, right? So it's usually 500 USD for that processor. Now for this RAM kit, I believe it's going to be 6,000 by CL36, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, CL36. So the pricing of that. Oh wait, that's two different kits here. Oh, that's, I guess people opt out for the Crucial and choose to upgrade. Now when it comes to Crucials, the pricing typically for this is going to be actually quite high. Now this is CL36 at $350. So that alone right there, you have $500 and $350. That's you're way over the kit already. That's already $850. And then plus the motherboard that comes with it is the Asus. This is the Asus Pro, I believe, or Asus Prime. Let me see. Yes, the Asus Prime X870p. So it's definitely a decent deal. If you're building a brand new PC, you might as well go for it. Even if you're trying to say, like again, if you're trying to upgrade your PC, even this kit's not a bad idea just to have a motherboard and say you just want the processor. It's not bad to just have the motherboard and the RAM just in case. But again, anyone that has a 9800X3D, I really wouldn't recommend just upgrading to a 9850X3D. You might experience little to no difference. I mean, it's not going to be that much. The only thing that's different about the 9850X3D, as I mentioned in the prior streams, that it's only going to be a 400 megahertz of a difference in clock speed, and everything else is pretty much the same. You still got the 8 cores, you have 16 threads, and you still have the same Vcache. So it's not going to be that different. What's going to be quite significantly different is going to be the 9950X3D2 once that starts to arrive, because the difference between that one is that will actually have dual Vcache. So instead of having one non-Vcache and one Vcache, one CCD Vcache, it's going to have two CCDs and Vcache. So again, that is an option that people can look for if you're trying to look for some sort of upgrade. That would be quite the change, or it might not be that significant of a change because, again, it can be debatable if it's really going to boost performance or not. I'm sure some of you guys heard that if you have an X3D processor, that you may not need to be able, you really may not need to be able to use a dual RAM if you want to, because a lot of the Vcache will take advantage since during gaming, which is pretty much, it's pretty true actually. So if you actually have a X3D processor, you can get away with a single RAM, and you might not even notice that much of a difference. Of course, we can do some testing later and see how much of a difference that would be. So Hamzef says, is the Asus Prime X870P good for the Ryzen 7 70? Yes, it would be absolutely, it would work great, honestly. I'll let my brother, yes, awesome. There's loads of updates on the, really? Oh man, I'm really curious to see how they look like too. Until, oh really? Now they got firmware. They probably got a little bit nervous. But the funny thing is, you don't really hear too much issues when it comes to Arrow Lake. But I am looking forward to Arrow Lake's refresh. I believe, you know what I bet those updates are for when it comes to Asus's Z890? It's probably preparing for Arrow Lake's refresh. That's what I'm thinking. Arrow Lake's refresh will be coming soon, I believe. It's going to end up dropping sometime in February or March. And once it does, oh, Rugal, what's up? So still no 96. I know. You know what's crazy? I wish when I saw AMD, in fact, I want to ask them and say, hey, what's going on with the 9600 X3D? It was supposed to like release at least November 2026, and we're like 2 months past it. But maybe originally they wanted to release the 9600 X3D, and they said, you know what? Let's up it a notch. So let's go 9850 X3D. Maybe that's what they did. I'm assuming maybe, or maybe they'll go back to it. Knowing AMD, they like to stick on a line. For example, just like you look at the 5000 series, truly the series that never died, right? They constantly come out with new processors. So maybe they'll do the same thing with Granite Ridge. They'll constantly come out with 9000 series processors, as that's like Zen 5. Zen 6, we might not see so much. So I feel like that's what the case is going to be. Zen 6 is going to be a lot more restrictive, I think, when they come out with processors. But we will see, like, that's where most of the change will happen in Zen 6. And then once we go to AM6, then that's when we're going to start to see the implementation of Zen 6 plus the new clock speeds that they will have. But again, I don't hope if things continue the way they are. The good thing is then when AM6 does release, then they can finally introduce DDR6. But again, it's as long as if these companies start rejecting AI as we hope, then it won't slow down the progression when it comes to PC hardware. I think NVIDIA, specifically Jensen Huang or Microsoft Satya, I think they want to really push AI, but that will also slow down the progression when it comes to PC hardware. So would X2 24 gigabytes, oh, you mean two 24 gigabyte DDR5 would be actually slower for gaming than 132? It's possible, because what are the specs that you are planning to push out, by the way? Because it all depends. That really depends. Charitard, what's up? So do you think a 9800 X3D would be okay running in my ASRock board? Yes. The question of the day, right? It's gonna work fine as long as if you're on the new BIOS version. If you're on 3.4, you should be okay. But again, I'm going to come out with a video actually coming up either today or tomorrow about what you can do to prevent any 9800 XTD burn-in or any other, or the 9850 XTD, because they're pretty much running on the same wattage. What to set when it comes to your SoC voltage and other settings that you can also prevent from your processor burning up, just in case. Or you can use it as a reference to check the voltage of the processor, which is typically going to be at 1.2 volts. Anything higher than that, especially if you go into the 1.3 volt territory, then you're risking burn-in, like when it comes with your processor. ASUS dropped a new, yes, absolutely, that's a good thing too. ASUS did end up dropping a new BIOS, guys. I mean, as soon as it was yesterday, in fact, Amir let me know that they actually dropped the new BIOS. So if anybody does have a X870E Crosshair Hero, the latest BIOS is no longer in November. Now the latest BIOS is in January 30th. So Charizard says, I'm running on the 4.03 with the new, I guess. How do you like it, by the way? How do you like the new update? But again, if you set Expo profiles, just double check the SoC voltage specifically, not the RAM voltage, just to let you know. RAM voltage is completely different than what's going to be on the SoC voltage. Hero, etc. Yes. So anybody out there that has an ASUS board, they did release new firmware. So if you need to update your BIOS, make sure you go ahead and do so. Really easy to find. If you have an ASUS motherboard, I'll show you exactly where to find it. Say you have the same motherboard as me. Here, Hero, we're going to look up X870E Hero motherboard. If right here, you go to support up here on the top tab. And then from down here, you're going to, let's X that so you can see. And then from over onto drivers and tools right here, you're going to click that. And you're going to see BIOS and firmware. And then once you go down here, you're going to see the new BIOS. So the new BIOS right here, which has been released, which is 2004. And this is completely new because they're on a new version. It's no longer on, they don't even show the, let me show you the old one. The old one was 1805. So this is a complete revision. So this is based on, I guess, updated to combo AM5 for 1.3 for better security, enhanced system performance, and stability. That's a key word, guys. Remember I mentioned that, guys, about on my video. If you see enhanced system performance and stability, that's going to help anyone out there that does have, say, a 9800 X3D. And improved memory compatibility for JEDEC compliant modules, which is the RAM. So it has, so they pretty much tweaked the BIOS. So that's their way of saying, oh, let's tweak this a bit better. Let's make this a bit tighter so that way this doesn't end up burning up any chips just in case. So that's what that adjustment is. So are there any GTX 1080s and Ryzen 5? I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't even think, to be honest, this Micro Center won't even have them. I think they actually still got GTXs, but I don't know about the 1600Xs. I know the oldest Ryzen models they have is probably the 5000 series. I'm pretty sure that they have it. Yes, and Z890. So anybody that has Z890, pretty much the same way as I looked up the ROG Crosshair X870E. You just go under products, go to motherboards, and then you're going to go to ROG. Let's see. We're going to go to platform. We're going to Intel. And here we go. So for example, if you have the Z890 Hero, say BTF model, we're going to learn more, go to support. And then from here, you're going to go over to your drivers and tools right there and go to your BIOS and firmware. And then right here, they also have quite the large update. So now for anyone, see the keyboard on this one is really interesting. Is end of life. Yes, maybe. So the BIOS support for future Intel Core Ultra series. That's an indication for the new refresh, Arrow Lake refresh, which we're all excited for, which should be dropping sometime soon. Hopefully Intel focuses on releasing that. I know Panther Lake is released. I know they're really excited about it, but I think they got to really put their focus on their processors once again. that's their core. That's what Intel is. So hopefully they can refocus back onto their processors once again. I hope that Arrow refresh will be quite the change. It's not going to be a significant change, I believe, but I believe that their new processors, when they release the pretty much like a Panther Lake hybrid processor that's going to be desktop form factor, that's going to be a bit more interesting because then possibly, hopefully, we get to see the introduction of DDR6. But of course, if the way things are currently are, if everything remains status quo, then it's not going to be good. DDR6 will still stay on the back burner as we still get DDR5. So a lot of Redditors call the new update a beta. Oh, really? They called it a beta BIOS. I wonder why. It makes me want to examine it a bit more. And that's specifically going to be, I bet, the ROG Crosshair Hero, right? I'm going to examine it and see how the settings are. I'm curious to see what they tweaked compared to what they used to have. So NVIDIA also dropped the 582.28 WHQL legacy driver download. Thank you for letting us all know, Amir. Certainly do appreciate it. Where can I undervolt my CPU? If you're trying to undervolt your CPU, the best way to do it is you're going to go through, it depends on the processor you have, first of all. I'm assuming if you have AMD, you're going to use the Adrenaline software to do so. You can do it through there. Or, no, not your CPU. I'm thinking of your GPU. You do it through your BIOS, typically. You're going to go through your BIOS, or actually AMD does have software to do it too, but I usually recommend doing it in the BIOS. But now, again, also be mindful when you're undervolting. The thing you want to, yes, you can undervolt. Technically, it's usually safe. What you want to avoid is voltage spikes. So make sure to do so. So again, for anyone that is interested, there is an indication, as I know they mentioned it on Twitter here, or X, where they did mention about the BIOS update when it came to Arrow Lake refresh and how they're preparing for Arrow Lake's refresh to end up releasing. But the only thing is, Intel hasn't said anything quite yet. They do have support for future Intel Core processors for the new BIOS updates for anyone that is interested in it. And still the GTX 10. Yes. It's been end of life for a while. I think it's been, what was it? I think they put the GTX series end of life about, I think it was April of last year, if I'm not mistaken. It was April or May, but it was around then. So let's go ahead and go back to Micro Center here. Okay, so let's go back. Now, for everyone that is curious about the RAM pricing here, let me show you what it looks like. Now, when it comes to the RAM pricing, this is where it gets exciting, because I know this is what kind of set off this whole domino effect when it came to pricing, when it came to PCs. Now, if anyone's just coming in and curious what I'm talking about, like what happened with AI, more and more companies are realizing it's not doing them any good. Instead, it's causing some companies to regress. Google, which is, of course, that owns YouTube, says that they're looking to take down a lot of these AI channels. In fact, they didn't think about it. They did. They took down a lot of AI channels. And just like Takuma said, they used AI to remove AI. So Rugel says, what can they improve without refresh, without changing the architecture? Yes. That's the thing. This would be kind of a miss. And I think, to be honest, the reasoning for this is because they can't just have one processor on a platform. If they have one processor on just a platform, it's not going to be good. Now, of course, they can have quite the improvements. A lot can change with about like a year and a half. So they can add different memory compatibility. Of course, that would be the biggest thing. And I don't know if they're gonna put more wattage to it too. I don't think they would do something like that. If they did, that would be completely the opposite spectrum of what Arrow Lake was supposed to originally intended for. Um, I'd be, I think a lot of people out there would honestly be happy if it was focused a bit more on performance than efficiency. But I think also the people who are looking for, maybe, you know what, maybe Arrow Lake refresh will be based on performance, and then the standard Arrow Lake line would be based on efficiency. That would make a bit more sense. But again, we'll see what they do. I'm curious to see what the specifications will be. I don't think we're gonna see any real crazy processors until they start releasing their new generation when it comes to Intel. But again, we're gonna have to more than likely wait till October to see that. So when it comes to the pricing, when it comes for the RAM, Crucial's Pro overclocking, which is going to be their 6,000 megahertz, which is certainly one of the cheaper ones that they currently do have for a deal, is $350. It's funny, I thought I saw it for $325 when we were looking. So the price actually dropped slightly for Corsair's Vengeance for the 64 gigabytes. It dropped down almost $20. Not much, but it dropped down some, $809.99. So you're telling me selling years of stock that hasn't been made yet to companies for promises of money that doesn't exist isn't a bad idea. And this is exactly the reason why investors did not want to invest in foundries. Because I'm kind of mad today, not gonna lie, might just return to Germany from Turkey, since the government, I'm thinking of releasing a really stupid law that might not ban Steam, and when something is banned in Turkey, that's banned, it stays for at least a couple of years, since it's easier to make a law than undo one in the Turkish law. That would be pretty funny. But speaking of which, that's why investors are scared to put money into foundries. They thought that they already knew. Investors are not dumb. Originally, when this whole AI craze came out, they, of course, are on board with it. They will invest some of the money that they have for it. Of course, when it comes to the whole foundry side, though, as you know, the whole reasoning for RAM being so expensive.
Marcus Zander subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing, Marcus. And the reason why they do invest in it, they invest a certain amount of money to it, but they don't want to invest or surpass a certain amount of money. For example, for these foundries, the reason why these wafers are so expensive right now, meaning specifically for RAM or NAND or VRAM, for anything like that, the reason why it's so expensive, those prices look higher. It all depends on what I think G-Skill is. It's like a mix. I feel that they feel confused with the market, but to go back to the point about the whole wafers, they could only produce so much. It's already bought out technically. It's like a bought out supply until 2027. So they already kind of pre-purchased every wafer that's being produced right now until 2027. And of course, investors can always invest more into more foundries. Of course, foundries don't build in one day, but they can create more foundries or buy used foundries to help expand production to make AI expand much more quicker. Of course, that can help their AI investments, but they do look at the other side of the coin. And that other side of the coin is, will it be a waste of money if I spend extra money to purchase this foundry? Or if I purchase 5 foundries for SK Hynix or Samsung or maybe even Micron, if I purchase any of these foundries that are around, will I get my investment back? But in the back of their mind, they know exactly what they're thinking. They're thinking it's too much of a risk. If AI ends up not succeeding, I will lose everything I've invested in, and it's expensive to obviously to invest. I mean, Nvidia spends billions of dollars, not just millions. They spend billions and billions of dollars into AI. And again, now is where you start to see the regression of companies such as Microsoft and Google starting to realize, like, people aren't really, they like it, but not so much anymore. It was almost like a flash in the pan. So Waffle Skater says RAM go up again. Those prices look higher. The investor bought a pig in a poke. So they're not going to spend extra money on fabs, unfortunately. So that, and you know what the biggest thing, the reason why they don't want to invest more money in fabs, it's because get this, if they invest more money into fabs and say AI does fail, RAM would dramatically drop. It would turn in this $809. This wouldn't be $809. They would need to get rid of it, right? They would have oversupply, and you would start to see sales. They would start to get desperate. In fact, the first method they would try to pull is that this would drop half price. 809 would turn into, say, $400 even, right? 399 looks like a awesome deal for 64 gigabytes of RAM, right? But they have exactly, that's what investors would feel like. It would drop dramatically. It would look like a great deal. Crucial would drop down to, say, $150. Looks like a awesome deal. But the truth is, that's still way overvalued, especially if it's overproduced. And eventually it would get to the point where they would have so much supply, then it would drop down below what you're used to seeing. So you would see 64 gigabytes of RAM for $180 for the pair. You would see 32 gigabytes for probably $80 a pair, because they would need to get rid of it, because they would have a oversupply. Same thing with SSDs. Same thing when it comes to, they would have plenty of VRAM. So investors are like, we will lose way too much money if that were to happen. That's how ahead they think. So, Rugal Boss says, so that presented both Ryzen AI 4 and Intel Ultra 3 in CES. Which one do you think is better when it comes to, it's funny, I actually just came out with a video based on that. It's hard to say which one is 100% better. They both have their positives and their negatives. Of course, the positive thing about Panther Lake is that the fact that you can get a ton of battery life off of it. People were able to use it for production, and be able to get 22 hours out of it, because just how well the new graphics works on the new processors. The integrated graphics are phenomenal on it compared to how they used to be. Of course, we all know when it comes to integrated graphics, you're like, who wants that on a laptop? You're not going to be able to enjoy things like gaming. But it's improved to tenfold when it comes to Panther Lake. AMD really also is great when it comes down to their AI 4000 series when it comes to their processors. But what you would want to look for a bit more is things like Strix Halo. If you're looking for a bit more of the gaming side, it would outperform Panther Lake. But of course, there does come the other side of the coin for them as well, where it does involve a bit more of a power draw. So 2000 yes, that would be wonderful, right? So LCJ73 says, I bought a 4TB Samsung M.2 a few weeks ago. At the next week I bought it and went up another 40. And just to show you guys who are just coming in how bad the pricing is, Samsung 990 Pro, right? Typically it's like maybe $200 for a 2TB. That's like at the most. And now it's at $300. That's how bad the pricing currently is. Oh, sorry. No. It's don't worry about it, Rugal. Usually I drop like I always drop like a midweek video, and then I'll drop a weekend video. But the weekend video will be especially for you guys out there that does have a X3D processor, especially the 9800 X3D or 9850 X3D, and you want to play it safe. I'm going to show you exactly what to adjust to prevent any type of burning when it comes to those processors. So warm it up, Chris. Oh, it's going to get cold here tomorrow, especially. I have an i5 11600K and a RTX 5080. Is it worth upgrading the system now, or just keep it as is as I'm playing on 1080p? Oh, what type of games are you playing, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Did you see Lanley and the D? No, I did not. Ah, I didn't get to go to Liam Lee's show floor. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to their display. Um, they were pretty far out. I didn't get to check out their room because there was some areas where they were pretty much far. So unfortunately, there was so little time to get to see everything. But I can say, as for anyone who is curious, I am honestly thinking of going to Computex as well this year, and if I do, I will let you guys know if I end up doing it or not. But of course, it's kind of debatable, and I'll definitely explain in the member stream why. So, weekend video. I don't understand what it has to do with tech. No, I'm talking about. No, what I'm talking about is I drop usually 2 long format videos in a week. So I'll drop one in the middle of the week and one on the weekend. So Apex Legends, God of War, Call of Duty, Black Ops 7. Okay, so these are your top games that you play right now. I'd say with your current setup, let's see, you're probably more than likely okay. What GPU are you playing with, by the way? Out of curiosity, you mentioned that you have your processor, but you never mentioned what GPU you originally had. So, but I'm assuming you're probably okay if you're running 1080p and 240. Assuming your monitor's at the max refresh rate. I'm assuming you're just like a series behind maybe. Maybe you're in the 4000 series, like 4080. Is it okay to buy a 4 terabyte SSD? I mean, it is okay. As long as it's been taken care of. Most SSDs are generally safe. RAM is generally safe to purchase. Of course, it's always preferable to always test it if you can. Let's check out the AMD bundles real quick, as if anyone is curious about them. Currently, they have the 7600X, which is $350. Of course, it comes with one RAM stick at 16 gigabytes. They also do have the B650E, which is a decent motherboard. And of course, they have the G Skill Flare X5, a decent RAM. Again, great for anyone that wants to just start off a build. Of course, you can spend an extra 300, like an extra about 30 bucks if you go for the tough gaming line, which is going to be more of the upgrade. So Prince Green says, I would upgrade since processors are in a okay spots, but if you're going to upgrade RAM, also I would wait. You could get more performance out of your 5080 with a new processor. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, so is that his current setup? He already has the 5080. So if he has the 5080 and has the 11th gen series processor, yes, you can choose to upgrade, but of course that's 100% optional. If you're already getting your because most of the bottlenecks going to end up coming from your GPU most of the time. But if you're playing like much more heavier games that rely on things like Unreal Engine 5, then yes, then that's when you're going to face some bottlenecking when it comes to your CPU. But as of now, the games that you play is not going to require it. But if you are wanting to play certain titles that require, again, Unreal Engine 5, then you will start to see significant lag, or you're going to see some throttling, I would say, not lag. So they showed up before at Computex last year, but it was a redesign made to stand vertically. Hey, we also have new DLSS files version 310. The funny thing is, you get so many people mixed about using DLSS swapper because they're saying it's becoming a bit more irrelevant, which is sort of true, but not in all cases. There are a lot of games out there you can certainly take advantage of using DLSS swapper if anybody has never tried it before. Great for anyone that does have any NVIDIA cards. Do I see it, or are those prices? Now, this is just the top end. Now, for the regular, like X3Ds, nah, they went up. Like the 7800 X3D is 600 when that was originally 500. But maybe that was a different case. I think that was maybe they had more. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, 7600. So it did drop. So it dropped a little bit, $430. So they dropped like roughly about like about 20 bucks. Not too significantly, but it did drop. So you can end up getting even the Tough Gaming motherboard, 7600X3D, a B850 Plus Tough Gaming motherboard, and you get the G-Skill Flare X5 series for 430. Not too bad of a deal, actually. So some of the deals have dropped. So let's hope for that dynamic shift there. I also downgraded from the 7950X to a 9700X. Thought about buying a 9800X3D too, but I just don't want to bother when it's heat. And the fact that 9700X can run higher gigahertz, more stability, just spoke to me. Originally, I was waiting for a 9600X3D, but that isn't coming. Yeah, I hope it does. I really do. I think that would be a great option for more gamers out there. Most gamers don't want to spend something like, they don't want to spend $500 on a processor if they don't have to. They don't want to spend $300 on a 2 terabyte drive, let alone, which is insane. That's insanely expensive. Pedro, what's going on? Sorry to bother. I've been buying my PC parts on discounts, only missing a graphics card, and should buy a RTX 5070 to pair with my Ryzen 5 9600X and 32 gig. Okay, so that's your question. That would be a decent pair to go with. I'm assuming, yeah, feel free to let us know like what you will be using your PC for, whether if it's going to be for gaming or creator use. Feel free. So I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to use the toilet now. All right, guys, I am back. Drank way too much water this morning. So RTX 5070 Ti on a discount or a RX 9070 XT. Okay, let me go back. I must have missed something here. Let's see. So Multi King Salmon says 120 and 180 FPS in Apex, sometimes 200. Newer games, there is a lot of people I see that stutter. FPS is going down to 40 and 50, but yeah, thanks for answering. The PC originally had a 3060 Ti. Okay. So as long as if you're able to get the frames that you're looking for, that's more or so definitely the more important point for sure. I wish that AMD had a 9070 XT that looked like the Astral 5080. Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be honestly awesome if they did, I think. The Sapphire Nitro looks great, but I can't because of the 12 volt. You know, the only funny thing is when it comes to the 12 volt high power port now, when it comes to the Sapphire is, let me switch back over to this view here for you guys. So that way I can show you, it's the adapter more so from what I hear from when it comes to the when it comes with the burnt tips. I highly recommend if you end up getting a new GPU, especially if it's either AMD's 9000 series, especially if it has the 12 volt high power ports, or if you get NVIDIA's cards that have it, go ATX 3.1. I think it would certainly make quite the difference. Don't use like any of the older models that are under ATX 3. Anything under ATX 3, then I believe will cause significant risk of voltage spikes, and they won't show it. I have it in my drawer over here, in fact, but I don't really suggest using any adapters such as, let's see, this is what sapphires look like. Here it is. So sapphires looks a bit more like this. I'll switch it back over here so you guys can see it better, but it looks a bit like this, sapphires. You have the one single 12-volt high power port here, and then let me put it back into the lighting there. There you go. So it looks something like that. And then of course it connects into something like this. So I don't recommend these ones because then you have a higher chance of burning with something like this. I highly recommend more or so just swapping out the power supply. It's relatively inexpensive compared to the GPU. If you don't want to burn your PC, then just spend a little bit of extra money for the peace of mind at least. Then you won't have to worry as much. Of course, it's not going to be 100% preventative. I'm sure you've heard issues where even those who do currently have an ATX 3.1 still experience some sort of burn-in, but it's less likely when it comes to it. So, let me see. Go back down here. Good morning, Dark Style Tech. Good to see you. Anybody in the chat knows how to get rid of the Cloud Shadow and Forza Horizon 5? Who's hyped for Forza 6 though? I think there's quite a lot of people out there that's interested in it. So we'll be mostly for gaming, Twitch streaming. I just don't know if 1080p would be a little too much. Or go, for example, with a 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes. That's more cheaper here in Europe. For 1080, honestly, 5060 would be great. 5080 would definitely be overkill unless you're looking to upgrade. Unless you are looking to upgrade your monitor or display eventually, then you might really regret it. But if you're going to stick to 1080 and with the display that you currently have, then I'd go for it. And there it is. There's the price increase. Okay, so they finally increased the price of the MSI Shadow. Now it's $1389. Oh, man. Do they have it in stock now? Oh, they don't have it in stock anymore. But yeah, again, the pricing has gone up when it came to the Shadow here. As this was actually one of the cheaper ones you can get, like closer to MSRP pricing. So it feels like I haven't, let me see. Let me go down here. I'm running on extreme. Okay, there we go. So yeah, those harnesses are iffy. I saw Jay testing all the Amazon 12 volt. Oh yeah, he did do that, didn't he? I never got to see that video to see all the different testing of the 12 volt high power ports, but that would be quite interesting. But yes, the 12 volt cables supplied by Corsair are better. I believe that. Corsair does honestly have some like great products, especially when it comes to their power supplies. So if you are thinking of like upgrading a power supply, Corsair is certainly not one of the more fair priced, and definitely but the cables obviously are a bit more stiffer compared to a lot of other power supplies. But of course my favorite one here has to be Seasonic. I love Seasonic PSUs. Definitely one of my favorites when it comes to PSUs here. But of course you spend a bit more for the cost for Seasonic. Now let's see, 7800 X3D, 9070 XT. Seasonic, awesome. That's great, Sarge. It's good to see you. It's been a little bit. Cable mod cables are better. Yes. So that's always an option for everybody out there. So what Amir is talking about, if you go to cable mod, it's actually a great choice. Now, of course, originally at first they had their controversy when the 12 volt high power ports first really released in the 40 series, specifically on the RTX 4090s. But ever since then, that was like probably the first and the last you've heard of their cables burning up. But they have some great cables here. You go to their products, not their keyboard cables, but here you can actually select the different different type of cables where it's way more flexible and less rigid and stiff compared to Corsairs. This has a lot more flexibility. You can even select the type of feet that you would like. For example, this one's specifically for Seasonic and Asus because Asus uses Seasonic to create their power supplies. Now, again, it's great options. They have different color sets. Yeah, definitely recommend it for anybody that has a bit of extra cash to put into cables. Especially, we don't use nearly as many cables as we used to. We used to use much more, but now it's a lot less. So you only technically need like the 12-volt high power ports. You might need a PCI Express for power delivery for anyone that has a power delivery board, ATX. And then you have your two CPU pins that you can plug in. Plus, SATA is probably not really as necessary, but you can choose to get it if you're more focused on having a really neat setup. ATX 3.1 PSU are good on. If you have Seasonic though, it's like this type of quality though. But of course, they don't have the different fancy colors and everything. So also, Colorful is going to release a RTX 5070 one fan mini ITX edition soon. Any thoughts on it? I haven't got to see it, to be fair. I would love to examine it to see exactly how it's like. I'm curious to see what they do bring up. It seems like you have Colorful and you do have Yeston that is being a bit more competitive when it comes to GPUs here. But yeah, would love to check it out, see what they offer. Definitely will look into that. So I have two of the Lee Edge 13 watt PSUs. They've been nothing but great running 2 PC. Oh, that's awesome. You know, I was always curious about their PSU. How is the software with it, by the way, when it comes to Lee's Edge 1300 watt? We've looked at it. We might end up getting one for this upcoming build for project. I guess it would be Project Aura. We could do it for Project Aura because we had that Lee 217 case. So, and Cable Mod has cable combs that are actually adjustable. It's nice. Yes. And Amir says, I got the Corsair HX 1500i 2025 edition Gen 4 ATX 3.1, and I still got the 2 spares. Doesn't hurt to have extra. It really doesn't. 10-year warranty. A Focus 1K. Really? It's insane. But I mean, again, they're just undeniably good. They really are. So it sounds like you're running. Oh, Amir's a monster. He's an overclock monster. Like when it comes to it. He said, would it be 5 big booms for the fool who just stood there? Yes. Yeah, wasn't that crazy? Like how they literally just watched that 12-volt high power port just burn away. When you see that, immediately shut it off. At that point, you're risking your house catching on fire. Literally. It's no joke. I've not used the software. I've just used the PSU and the built-in USB. It's nice for their fans. I agree. Lee has some great fans. I use cables that came with it. Yeah, I mean, Seasonic cables are great. It's very similar feeling to how Cable Mod has. Except that, of course, they don't have the combs. Maybe the Focus does. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe the Focus does, because it is quite that premium price that you paid. Which, let's look at it real quick. Micro Center. So when it comes to power supplies, Seasonic is awesome. Now, I'll show you the price difference. First, let me show you Corsair, actually. We're going to go to Corsair 1000. We'll look up at the 1000X. Of course, if you have a 5090, you want to go above this. But if you have anything under a 5090, 1000 watts is like usually the typical standard for a lot of PC builders out there. Now, if you're going with a, AMD Radeon 9070 XT, then yes, then you can go up to like, say, like maybe about 850 would be good. So if we take a look here, $209.99. Thankfully, silver is dropping in pricing, which will certainly help our end. It should help the pricing when it comes to power supplies to drop quite a bit, instead of paying a bit more of a premium. But this is $209 for this power supply. Now the cables, are look a bit more like this. They're pretty rigid, stiff. These are like kind of just the standard cables that they give you. You can use them; they work great. They have no issues, but of course you have less flexibility when using them. Now, if you use Seasonic, Seasonic is amazing. Let's look up the Seasonic Focus, 1000 watt. Now, 100. Oh, really? You got it for $135. That's an awesome deal. So the Focus, really, it's only 200 bucks. Now that's a really good deal. That is a good deal. 200 bucks. So this is a little bit under Corsairs. But of course they have different models too. They have different models of Seasonic. The Elena Lee PSU comes with this one is the gold, okay, because they have platinum. They have different ratings when it comes to power supply. They have gold. They also have platinum. They also have titanium now. Ruby is like for the server ones. It's crazy how many different ratings they got now, like when it comes to power supplies. I wonder if oh yeah, that's pretty wild if he uses dry ice. The Elena Lee comes with the 12 volt to, yeah, we'll take a look at that one too, in fact. Oh, really? Leaves have that's quite efficient, actually. Really quite efficient. Limp cables. Yes, that's what. In Jay's video, he still says the best way to have is 3x8 or 4x8 to 12 volt. Huh. That's insane. Oh, for power balance. It makes sense in a power balancing sense. But I just don't like using adapters, though. That's my big thing. I don't like adapters. I feel sketched out about it. I get the idea about power balancing, but it still all goes into one source. It's like I feel like to truly have correct power balancing. This is my opinion. Some of you guys might agree or disagree with this, or I'd say I disagree with Jay in a way because yes, you have more. Nah, I'd say I more disagree, and the reason I'll tell you why. Sure, testing wise, it probably did well. It probably did phenomenal, but I would say in my idea of it for true power balancing, you need to have at least two 12 volt high power ports.
More Colin, subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. The reason why I would say that is because it all leads into one place. For example, think of it as piping, right? Like water going through a pipe. Think of it like that. So, of course, you have a channel, right? You have the single channel that goes directly into the 12 volt high power port, and at a certain gauge or a certain width. Now, if you end up separating it, right, into 3 different channels or 4 different channels, and then you put it all into one pipe, it's still technically all going to the same place, into that one port. So I feel like that's not really true power balancing until there is another 12 volt high power port, and then it would power balance correctly. In my personal opinion, in my theory, I would think of it that way. Is there a diamond rating? I don't know if there's diamond rating, but I think it goes platinum and then it goes to titanium. I don't know why they choose titanium. Diamond would make sense. There might be, because there's like some I've never even really looked into. But the Seasonic cables, I'm going to show you what they look like. It looks like this. Seasonic cables are very flexible and they have that stealth look. You can even use the stock ones. It'd be great for like something like a stealth build like Project Ninja. Now, there is a competition every year at Computex to overclock the GPUs. RAMs and CPUs have ridiculous numbers using liquid. It's insane. That would be pretty amazing to watch, I gotta say. B850 MSI Tomahawk motherboard. Okay, awesome. Again, MSI makes some great motherboards. I specifically love the carbon out of all of them. I think the extra piece at mine is to look at the Thermal Grizzly WireView Pro 2. Yes, I do like that. It's pretty dope. If you guys haven't seen the WireView Pro 2, it looks like this. Amir showed it to me the other day. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. This is by Thermal Grizzly here. So I'm surprised it's $140 for this piece. I really am, because I get the concept. It'd be great for a lot of people out there that say has a NVIDIA card. And what this does is you plug it to your GPU pretty much. And what it does is it monitors it actually monitors your voltage going uh into your GPU. So it lets you know if there's a bit of oversupply. So it looks like something like this. Isn't that pretty dope? But damn, that's kind of steep actually. It's a lot more steep than I originally thought it was going to be. I can see it being like, for some reason, I thought it was going to be a bit cheaper than that. It has a fan on it too, which is pretty wild. Um, yeah, I'm curious how this would be. So, I'm assuming they have a software you can monitor off of, and I would assume the software. And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like a kind of like a ECM kit, like you would put in a car. They don't make one for my yes, the 9070 XT. I'm assuming this as long as if the yes then it has a 12-volt high power port. There you got it. So for anyone that's coming in and curious about this whole AI situation and what I was talking about here with the title, it seems that more companies are starting to push back on the whole AI surge. Now you have a YouTube that's pushing stopping a lot of these AI channels and AI videos because they believe it's not only spreading misinformation, but people aren't engaging with AI as much. So they feel like they're losing users on the platform because of it. Now, Microsoft is also starting to reject the idea, believe it or not, when it comes to AI. And they feel that they need to focus a bit on more of what the customer needs are. And when it comes to the customer needs, they feel that customers are not really interested as much as they originally intended, as much as they tried to push Copilot and all these other AI platforms on Microsoft. As man, Copilot like really stuck around, but they really tried to push it on Microsoft, and they realized people are not taking it, and instead they want to focus on a better quality when it comes to Windows 11 because they are using users from Windows 11, and they are reverting back to Windows 10. Originally, Windows 11 had 55% of users, but now has reduced back down to 50 as Windows 10 has gone up back up to 55%. So the Lee PSU comes with the cable, which is quite flexible, basically similar to Cable Mod's cable. I have the Cable Mod 3 to 8 pin that was used a 12 volt to 6 adapter I was using with a different PSU compare. Yeah, pretty much. That's right, Takuma. Can you post that reference for the Pro 2? I haven't found that. Yeah. Yeah, this is yeah, sure. Let me see. I'll post it out there for everyone that is interested in it. Man, I don't know what's up with my social my chat here on this one side. Oh my gosh. There we go. Hopefully it'll post up out there. Yeah, let me get into that social bot and see what's going on here. Trying to fix something here, and for some reason it's not. There we go. That should fix it because for you guys on okay, it says onboard it. I think it's acting a little bit weird. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, no problem. Um, let's go ahead and take a look back onto Micro Center, and I'll show you which power supply he means. The Lian Li Edge. I put it together, but I didn't mean to. So Lian Li's Edge looks like this. So they have two different models, which is obviously going to be white and black, depending on the type of PC build you go. Awesome deal. They actually sold out quite a bit. They only got the white ones in stock. They do have 1300 watt and 850 watt. Now the more common one is pretty much sold out. So let's take a look at Lian Li Edge here, as this will be a bit more clear to take a look at. Now, here it does stick out. Now, it depends on the type of case that you have. for you to be able to take advantage of something like this. This actually would make practical sense for some cases, especially if it sits on the bottom. You could directly connect it just like this instead of instead of trying to guess where the hole is, as it could be kind of tucked away at times. But again, it all depends on your case. It might be in an awkward spot where you might not have deep room to really plug it in. Um, I'm assuming this is I'm assuming you could end up flexing this. I think it. No, I guess not. But yes, these use pretty much the same cables as he mentioned. Also, a great choice. You also had the platinum version. Now, the Corsair HX 1500i 2025 to go for you can set. Oh, that is a awesome choice that Amir has too. I believe Edge does the same thing. I know Be Quiet also has the same when it comes to their power supplies too, where it's focused either on single or multi-rail depending on what you want to use. Let me show you that real quick. In fact, Be Quiet. This is another great option for anybody out there that is looking for a power supply. Now, take a look here. The 13M. Now, they have the way they run it is going to be different, and they all have each of their own rail individually compared to how it usually is where it's stacked. Now, Amir does mention a good feature where you can actually switch it to either a single or a multi-rail. And I believe Lee does that too. But of course, it goes with their higher end side. The 1300 watt is platinum rated and highly rated on PSU tier lists in cyber. Sounds like a evening, Chris. Just tuned in. Oh, thank you for coming in. No, it's all good. Thank you for coming in. Linus Tech Tips has a YouTube video channel dedicated to testing. Oh, really? I had no idea. And stability and fail-safe features. You know what interests me the most is MSI's new power supply. And MSI's new power supply has this feature where it actually has a fail-safe. Speaking of fail-safes, for those who own a RTX 5090. Now, what it will do is that if it hits over a certain voltage, the power supply actually has a noise. It actually beeps and lets you know, like, hey, this is going a bit way too high. It's going a bit too high in voltage and in temperature, so we're going to shut down the PC. And it will actually give you a notification, like if nothing is done about it, it will automatically shut off in like, I think in a minute. Like about 1 minute or 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then the PC will shut off. Now, I think the Corsair HX 1000i failed their battery of test. No pun intended. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm curious. I'm really curious about between all of them. But so far, like out of a lot of these power supplies, I haven't really found true issues with them. But of course, I'm not trying to push my luck. But the most important factor is you don't want to go to a place like AliExpress, or better yet, let's go Temu. And you don't want to get a power supply from here. Anything that looks a bit sketchy, especially if you're hooking it up to a GPU that could potentially cost you like over $1,000, which is pretty typical, especially today. You don't want to end up purchasing off of something like here. Oh, I think I think they're tired of me messing with them, so they give me these puzzles now to solve. Wonderful. There we go. Now we can go in. Okay. So, oh, really? Okay. But how? That's right on the line there. Oh man, Timu's trying to. How? You see this, guys? I'm directly on the line, and it's failing. They just don't want me. Yeah, what's up, Just Nove? Welcome in. Okay, now it's successful. Okay, now we're through. I guess they don't want us to check out the power supply units. All right, so let's look up 1000 watt. I'll just look up a standard number. 1000 watt power supply. Here we go. So, okay. Here we go. Open box, Corsair. Interesting. Vita. That's a new one. Let's check out Vita. Oh no, Chris is a bot. Yeah, it's. I think they're trying to prevent me from advertising their site. I get a ton of their emails saying I should advertise their products, but I feel it's a terrible idea. FSP, okay, FSP's okay. Um, I want to see more of their other products. Let's see. Do you think it's truly Corsair, or do you think it's truly FSP when it comes to their power supplies? Here we go. No, Silverstone's good. Silverstone's a good brand. Again, I don't know if it's a knockoff or not. Possibly could be because it is Timu. Silverstone, Silver. Okay. Oh, Fantex. They even got Fantex on here. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to get rid of a lot of their terrible supply. I guess they saw us criticizing their power supplies. Here it goes. See, this is a sketchy one. $150. Well, again, 650 watts for $150 makes absolutely no sense. Let's go. Let's see more. Okay, so honestly, it looks like they cleaned up their site a little bit. Looks like they cleaned off all the knockoff versions. At least I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they're much more expensive than they originally were. That's insane. That's actually quite crazy. And yeah, that's pretty funny. They actually got rid of a lot of the cheap knockoffs. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're actually good. AliExpress. Let's check out AliExpress here. And we're going to look up PSUs. We're going to look up 1000 watt PSUs right now. I don't care for the gift. Let's go ahead. 1000 watt PSU. Here we go. That's what we wanted. TF Skywind, remember guys? So if you got a TF Skywind, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about here. I sent them an here we go. Tell me this tempts you guys right here. Does this tempt you guys right here? Take a look at that. I should make it a little bit bigger for you guys. I can't make it that big. You guys can't see it then. But all right, I'll continue playing it. So this is it. You got the little connection in the back there. Nice, nice. Oh, got the RGBs. You get the light effects there. Nice. And then you get the I like the cable that they use. It's just like a gray cable, doesn't even match it. Oh, you can turn off the RGBs by one click. That's okay. So that's where that selling point is. They don't try to sell you anything else but their RGBs. Okay, I get they have RGBs, right, guys? But what else do they got? All right, so let's go back here. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that mess. They just have everything plugged in. So they got their mainboard power, which is their motherboard power supply, CPU power supply, and they have 6. Okay, so this isn't even the ATX 3.1 or ATX 3. Okay, so this is what we want to see. Let's go down here. Let's get a bit more clear of understanding about this. So now it has wonderful power supply, lots of wattage. This power supply is awesome. I can't wait to install it. AIO comes with AIO, or it does all comes with 2 CPU power cables for the motherboard that needs extra power. Okay, and arrived fast. Gave it. That doesn't even make sense. Some of these comments once over, and it worked. Okay, here we go. So here's the cables and the connectors right here. Let's see. PCI Express CPU peripherals. And this is WindForce. Remember, this isn't Z-Sonic, guys. It's true. Now, I don't recommend anybody getting something like this. It's not worth underspending on a power supply, because if you do, that could lead into trouble. Now, it is only $75, right? It seems like a awesome deal. But you great, yes, great product and never installed it. I I like the ones where they say it looks good. I haven't installed it yet, but 5 stars. I noticed that the on-off switch on the power supply doesn't shut off. And you see this one, guys? So this guy says he gave it 5 stars anyway, but he said I noticed that the on and off switch on the power supply doesn't shut power off completely. Not sure if it's a design flaw or how it works. Oh, oh man. When you get with the XOC and the version BIOS, the warranty is so great PSU, rather light in terms of heatsink, but doesn't mean it can do its job. Has no issues running a dual. Oh, really? It has no issues running a dual Xeon CPU with a RTX 3090. Wind flowers will blow your computer away. Man, flailing. So it arrived earlier than expected. And then you got, of course, you get the 5 stars with no reviews. And one guy says, hello, this is Korea. Ryzen 7 5950X. And he lists his specs. 3 water cooling coolers, full acrylic, full options and specifications. Successfully passed 48-hour continuous overload test. It's amazing. Buying a 1,000-watt gold modular supply around 50,000 in Korean currency, and miracles beyond cost effectiveness. So this guy says he tested it, works great. So you can go with what he says. Yes. Yeah. I like this is, yeah, pretty much. So here we go. Here goes one. Great, excellent condition. Came with one minor ding outside of the box. Let's take a look. Yes, because the box is important. And wonderful power supply, lots of wattage. This power supply this power supply is awesome. I can't wait to install it. Okay, so it's lots of wattage, but I can't wait to install it. And then it comes with 2 CPU. I think that's the one we actually read earlier. This one just contains the photos with it. This this is oh man, hilarious. It looks good. I assembled it and everything looks fine. And the fan is very quiet, easily assembly, and that's not suspicious at all. But these are the power supplies you want to avoid when purchasing when you pair it with a high cost GPU, because you don't want to risk over $100 just spending like $175 or $180 on a decent power supply when purchasing something like this, because again, that leads into trouble, and where you often hear issues when it comes to 12-volt high power ports burning, where you hear issues of for example, you hear the 9800 X3D burning, and a lot of it has to do with the voltage regulation. It might be able to power it temporarily, but is it truly preventable when it comes to voltage spikes? And that's the biggest issue when it comes to PCs. Is it stable? So hey, my GPU got coil wine after 7 months of building it. Should I send it in for warranty? Not for coil wine, no. Coil wine is normal. Unfortunately, some are noisier than others. Depends on what you have. What type of GPU do you have? Is it? So, man, put it on the headphones. Hey, I got this PSU. I gave it 5 stars, even if I didn't install it. That's pretty much the basis here. The product is so good. I love it. I love it. Choice I'm buying from AliExpress. Not suspicious at all. Not suspicious at all. Okay, so the power supplies you really want to get from are, again, you can take a look at Micro Center here and take a look at their power supplies. They have great deals on them. And you know it comes from a decent manufacturer when you do end up purchasing from Micro Center. So if you look over here on the power supply side and you want to get some on sale, just say for, say, an ATX, power supply should last longer. Yes, it absolutely should. There's no reason why it should fail before then. Like even these MSI PSUs, recently they've been getting a bad rep because of the whole issues of burning 12-volt high power ports. But really, it's not the PSU's fault. It's honestly, I feel that a lot of it has to do with incorrect installation. Again, 12-volt high power ports, we've seen it before on Discord, where we've seen it not properly installed. Yes, they really, at this point with all these videos of burning, I hope they truly redesign it. The only card that really has the dual 12-volt high power ports is MSI's Lightning, and of course that's a high-end card. Nobody really has the money to spend $5,000 or $6,000 on a card. So I might get on that too. The Lightning. Oh yeah, it's actually a very decent PSU. They have the mag and they do have an MPG. MPG is also on sale too, I believe. Now, of course, these are the Corsair ones. Here goes Asus's Strix. Again, same quality as Seasonic. So if you do end up purchasing Asus, think of it as you're getting Seasonic. And Lee and Lee's a really good deal. They got the gold 850 watts. So if you're going for, say, a RX 9070 XT, this would be great, an awesome choice. Or if you get anything that's like, say, a 5070, this would be also a great choice. Tip one is to get a good PSU. Absolutely, definitely one of those underrated comments for sure when it comes to PC building. So the 5090 just pulls too much power for the connector it employs. They should just use the 4 8 pins or even APS cables. I feel like we're going to see ATX4. And when ATX4 happens, that's going to be another shift when it comes to PC building. I think it's going to be a lot more secure, and they certainly have to improve on the design when it comes to something like this to prevent issues like this from happening. Obviously, for more power, it's gotten to the point where they have to induce more heat to get more power out of your PC. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it's getting more efficient. They're not going the opposite direction at all, but it does require more voltage in order for it to get the type of performance that you are looking for your PC. So hopefully they do rethink their options when it comes to it. And I hope they really honestly talk to decent electrical engineers that can help resolve this issue. Now, the Gigabyte 5090 has a spot to add a second 12 volt to X if a person wanted to solder it on and solder it on. Oh, that's tricky. ATX4 will just be a industrial. Yeah, you have to live close to a power plant. You have to be in so many. You have to be within the radius of a power plant. Or the 240. For the US, would be a 240 volt port outlet. Not only in the Lightning Z, the Galaxy RTX 5090D Hall of Fame overclock has also a 216 pin. Oh, really? Did they? The Galaxy. Oh, yeah, they did. You're right. They did. I almost forgot all about the Galaxy. I forgot all about that card. And that they actually did that. They were one of the first ones to do it, actually. The crazy thing is, I'm surprised it didn't get as much footing as I originally thought it would, especially for its unique design when it comes to their graphics card. Now, for anyone that is curious about the whole issues when it comes to the pricing, it seems that when it comes to the memory, it's gotten slightly better, not much. Maybe about like $20 of a difference. Hopefully it continues to, the adjustments will be made. There are good indicating factors, like if you take a look at silver, how it's dropped quite significantly. It dropped down to like 26% in one day yesterday. So hopefully within the next week, we can see a continuous drop. That can certainly help things, but not specifically on the RAM side. That's more of the AI side. But when it comes to like things like power supplies and things like CPU coolers where they use copper. That also dropped significantly down to like about 10% when we checked. Um, I grew up on a Tron Chaser 6000 Field A4 Skyhawks behind Oscope and a Simpsons 2. Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's some times there. But again, like when it comes to it, I think we could certainly hope to see this AI bubble slowly dispersing. And it's a good indication to see that Microsoft and Google has brought up decent mention of it. Let's go on video cards to show you guys exactly what's going on here with them. I'm excited about this. Debuts on Newegg. So the MSI Claw A8, and they do have the A8 Plus. So it's finally going to release in the US, which is nice. Now, what I want to show you guys is Microsoft here. Let's go find them. They're somewhere on here. Oh, I'm not trying to save here. Microsoft has admitted to it. Now, where is it? Now it's buried within their articles here. Here we go. It's funny, they put it on the side here. So this is a good indication here. And Microsoft says that 2026, it's about fixing Windows 11, pain points, and rebuilding trust. So a signaling a shift in how Microsoft approaches Windows. So they're looking at not just focusing on making Copilot forced into Windows 11 anymore, but instead that they want to improve it.
Dudeman, subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. Charizard says, is 32 gigabytes of RAM enough for a dual boot setup? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely plenty. The funny thing is when you dual boot into Linux, it's going to still use very minimal RAM. It's when you go into Windows 11, it will just take at least half. Windows 11 is pretty greedy. For example, if you had 32 gigabytes, it's going to use at least 10 or 11 gigabytes of RAM. And then when you choose to upgrade it, even if you had 64 gigabytes, it'll end up using like 20. So it seems like anytime you do end up increasing RAM, Windows just likes to take more from it. Now, this is quoted all from Pavan Devoluri here. And he says, the feedback we're receiving from our communities is passionate customers and Windows insiders has been clear. We need to improve Windows in ways that are meaningful for people. This year, you're going to see us focus on addressing pain points that we hear consistently from customers, improving system performance, reliability, and overall experience of Windows. Trust is earned over time, and we are committed to building it back with Windows community. So that is the direction that they're headed now. Now, a key part of the reset is AI, where the loudest backlash has centered features such as Windows Recall and the spread of Copilot buttons into basic apps. So they're trying to get rid of this whole Copilot integration, which would certainly help on the improvement of your Windows experience. Now, I know many people out there are anticipating mostly for Windows 12, but and how can they make Windows 12 better if they can't even make a Windows 11 right? Prices will, yes, and this is a good indication that possibly pricing can finally go back to normal a lot earlier than anticipated. Well, the real question is, will AI companies really start to retract their orders? Will they start to say we don't need this much HBMs? Do we not need these many wafers? Because that's where the true problem lies. As long as if there is more backlash when it comes to companies such as Google, Microsoft, and pretty soon we're going to see, I'm pretty sure we're going to see other companies start to face this backlash as on DuckDuckGo, if you're familiar with their search engine, they also put out a poll out there asking everybody about how do you want AI integrated into the search engine for DuckDuckGo? And again, 90% of users said that they are no longer interested in using things like AI to help search for their search result. And only 10% of users said that they are interested in AI as part of their search result. So Altman looks like the odd man out. Yes, and it seems like unfortunately for him, they're not. Even though it seems like that OpenAI is making a ton of money, they're actually losing a lot of money. They spent all their money into kind of reinvesting into the company. And I know many people out there are like, how do they not have any money? Um, it's because they keep spending to make it larger, their infrastructure. They spent so much money on things like these wafers. They spent a lot of money on creating more servers. But in the end, if it becomes less and if you have less and less users, all that is going to go to waste. Um, and pretty soon it can get pretty wild, in fact. Just imagine if there is a complete backlash of AI. Like, for example, um, even take a look at this. This one's an interesting one, even. I didn't even get to read this one. So, FFmpeg devs call out AMD over AI slot patch. So, so they publicly poked AMD this week and said that FFmpeg developers were unhappy with AI slot patches. Wow. So even them, even in the AMD side, it seems that they're accusing AMD for using AI code. And that was a large issue on Windows part too, even though some users said it's because they have less employees. Yes, that's true. Microsoft does have less employees now. But in place of those less employees, you know what they use? They also use AI to help code for these updates, for these security patches. And this is no different. They're using code in order for these new security patches. So we have, I think every day everybody wakes up, I'm pretty sure they dread to hear the word AI because as soon as you wake up, it's almost in your face. Anything that you open up an article, there it is right there in your face. And we're getting fatigued. We truly are getting tired. Even those who go onto social media, say they don't go to the news in the first thing in the morning, they go straight to social media, and the first thing they see is a AI video of a cat with a bazooka, and people get tired of it. They get it. It was cool at first. Everybody has to say, yeah, that was pretty amazing stuff. It looks realistic, but then it gets to a point where you're tired of seeing what is actually fake on the internet. You want to see some true, authentic videos. And I think this is kind of the stage where people want to get really reach back into the humanity side of things, which is also great for us too, because then it will also drop hardware cost. And that's where a lot of the hardware cost is going to, is because of things like this. So your Wi-Fi router analyzes your body signature after mapping it in your home for safety. Yes, and the routers will have cameras in it just in case if your heart rate drops. It can call an ambulance, right? That will be their excuse. They are spending with no revenue. Exactly, and that's the problem. They keep spending on negative revenue. They've lost a ton of money. In fact, let's see. Let's look up an article, in fact, about it real quick. OpenAI, what is it? I think they're under, what is it? It's quite a significant amount, like, loses money. I'll just look this up real quick. And you know what's annoying this too? The AI overview. It's such a waste of resources when that happens. Here we go. So financial experts says OpenAI is on the verge of running out of money. So this is again produced in January 14th of 2026. Now the AI industry continues to pour tens of billions of dollars into resource intensive models such as infrastructure to run them. So yes, a debt bubble. Their value is coming from sheer speculation at this point. Yes, it's true. It's exactly that. It's through speculation. They're thinking of the possibilities of what OpenAI can bring. So, but actually turning a profit is likely many years away. See, a positive outlook, right? Because they want people to spend, they want people to invest, they want people to believe that AI has a chance. Now, corporations such as like Google, Meta and OpenAI, and Google's pretty much out in the mix at this point to race each other for dominance in space. Well, of course, Google has their AI platform, but it's hard to say if they're just going to completely abandon something like Gemini. But Google and Meta has already successfully done business with other things that OpenAI does not. So they committed to spending well over $1 trillion before the end of the decade. So already they mapped out a plan of spending $1 trillion, which is insane. That is an insane amount of money. So I think generative AI will be less relevant, but AI databases, businesses will continue. I think so too. I think it's going to be more useful for the business end, I see. On the consumers end, I think we're going to hit eventually a certain limit where they end up not using as many resources as necessary because they'll feel like they built up a large enough LLM for it. So they said over the next 18 months, he argued that OpenAI's competitors, such as Google's, Microsoft, and Meta, use the money that they earn from legacy businesses to pour hundreds of billions into developing and scaling their AI model, while OpenAI doesn't have that luxury. So, so Malaby is no AI hater. He's extremely bullish on AI overall, arguing that businesses usually take decades to deploy new technologies successfully, where AI industry has made striking progress in just 3 years. So he doesn't believe that it's a growing AI bubble. But then again, as you saw, Microsoft, Google, they all are starting to push back on AI and saying, I don't think people want this. They're starting to realize, like, as much as we're pushing it, we pushed it all up into CES even, and people are just not really going for it. This is not what they're looking for. So a household name after the launch of ChatGPT just over 3 years ago, expects OpenAI to become a footnote in AI's history in less than 2 years now. So, so take a look at this. This is pretty funny. When OpenAI has raised record amounts of funding for private companies, the company is still hemorrhaging cash, burning through $8 billion in 2025 alone. Sloptopolis Prime. My son runs Linus with a virtual computer he installed in it and runs Windows with no Linux. You mean yeah, I mean, there you go. And that's a beautiful thing about it. So again, they're hemorrhaging because they burned more than $8 billion in 2025 alone. So even if OpenAI regens on many of these promises and pays for others while overvalued shares, the company must still find daunting sums of capital. Now, after running out of cash, the researchers suggest that OpenAI can be absorbed by Microsoft, Amazon, or another cash-rich behemoth. An OpenAI failure wouldn't be an indictment of AI, but be merely the end of the hype driver builder of it. So they believe that eventually it's going to get absorbed to another company. So I think David Sachs, who said Optimus 3 would revolutionize everything. I'm just tired of them trying to convince me I need hell. Yes. You know what the crazy thing is? We didn't even really get into the whole quantum computing side. And that's another big thing that could certainly change things. And they thought about using quantum computing for things such as like researching in AI. So, fam, guys, I'd like to certainly thank everybody for coming into this stream. I thank Simply Takuma, Waffle Skater, Charizard, Sarge Marine, and I thank everybody, Amir especially, for being a wonderful part of it. Andrin, everybody that is part of the chat, I sincerely thank you guys for coming in. I will be entering the members chat in just a bit. New group in Linux, hiring for stable support. It's a good thing that they're not looking into AI. Thanks again, Amir. I appreciate you. Thanks again, Simply Takuma. Shout out to Genomorphing. It's been a while. Wasabi. All you guys. And Nesto, I know you're in here. Thank you for coming in. And we will be switching over in just a bit. Have a great day, depending on where you are. I'm going to say great morning, great day, great evening. Thanks everyone for making this wonderful chat possible. And don't forget to join Discord, subscribe, like, and follow. Thanks so much, guys, and have a wonderful weekend.